Hey guys, this is the Indian here. I've got a small video regarding gear ratios and sprocket ratios that you can change in your motorcycle, and this is for a CBR 250R. Well, starting, I have got a full set of sprockets, front and rear. I think right now I have got currently 4 rear sprockets and 2 front sprockets. So front is always called the drive. So this is the stock original. As you can see, it is 14 teeth. I hope you can see that. Yep, there it is. It's a 14 teeth, and subsequently I've got different sizes regarding different, what do you say? How do you say this? Better acceleration. Well, it goes like this. Bigger the drive sprocket, sorry, that is the drive, and this is the driven. So I'll put them right next to each other and give you a better view. So the physics is like this: the bigger the driven sprocket, more easier it is for acceleration. Same way, the smaller the drive sprocket, you get the same effect, better acceleration. Now, if you are a person who's riding a CBR 250, the gear ratios that you will be riding on are these. This is a 14 teeth and this is a 38 teeth. Now, how do you find out where is 38? Just take your sprocket and it'll be written 38. All right. So this is the stock ratio. And this is how the chain looks like. In India, the chain that we get is from this company right here. I hope you can see that. It is an R. I hope you can see. Come on, camera. Okay, it's an R. So R means in India that's a roll-on. This is a roll-on standard 520 pitch. So 520 pitch is, I think, the width of the chain, or I don't know what is it exactly, but 520, this is a 520 pitch, 108 links. 108 of these are there in one full complete chain. This is actually my donor brand new chain for cutting and replacing it on a extended chain for these kind of sprockets. So if you are a person who wants to buy aftermarket sprockets and play around with your gear ratios, you want to try for more acceleration, and you want more top speed, this is how you go. This is what you do, and this is the most easiest upgrade that you can do. Very easy, very simple. Plus you lose a little bit of weight in some places. Other than that, it's pretty nice. Your bike feels more lively. There's a good, like for example, you can feel at least 10%, 20% difference. It is not the percentage or numbers that you're supposed to see. It's about the feel of the bike and how it rides, and what RPMs does it like to rev at, and how many RPMs you lose. If you're going for ratios like these, well, you can't go for these ratios. This is too, what do you say, extremely high on acceleration. It's like you lose a lot of revs, meaning when you rev your gears, the speed of each gear that you can max out, like for example, if the first gear, that is your motorcycle's gear, that is when you put on first gear, and let's say you rev it out to max RPMs, that is at 10,500, your speedometer might show, I don't know, maybe 40 kilometers. So if you put this, the meter will show 40 kilometers, but in reality, what will happen is that the speed will reduce, but the acceleration will increase. So this is kind of very, very tough to explain with just simple words. So there is a top speed. So you should understand, top speed is one element, and next thing is acceleration. So when you go for these kind of setups, like a 1344, it will become quite a rev happy, not rev happy, it will rev very easily. The engine will rev out to its max revs very fast with quite a lot of ease, and you can out accelerate other motorcycles. But unfortunately what happens is that your top speed gets really short. Like if your bike is capable of doing on stock ratios right over there, 10,000 RPMs, maybe 168 kilometers. Well, in these kind of setups, you might be doing, the meter will show 168, but in reality, maybe you might have 30 kilometers, 30, maybe more than 30 kilometers of speed reduction, because you have changed your sprocket ratios, and depending on that, your gear total ratios will also, your final ratios will completely differ. So the ratios number which you are supposed to understand from stock is, with these two, 1438, the ratio is 2.714. I think that is the value of pi. Okay, anyway, 2.714. So that is for a 1438. The problem in those sprockets is, once you start going above 120 and you're at 8,000 RPMs, you find out that your throttle movement, that is, when you roll on your throttle, the feel of the bike is like as if it is dull. It's like it is having a flat spot, that the bike is just not having enough oomph to, run away and go and utilize the rest 8,000, 9,000, 10,000 RPMs. So that is what happens on these. Now when you reduce your sprocket ratios, when you increase, so for 2.714, you go higher, like 2.8, 2.9, 3, 3.2 as a final ratio, which is actually a division of the rear driven sprocket and the drive. So you just take a calculator, and this is a 44, so you write 44 divided by 13. So you get a final, you get a value which will say what is the final ratio. So these sprockets, this too is all for acceleration. Now if you want more top speed, you go for this. Now this is in aluminium. These are all aluminium. This one and this one is aluminium. Only driven sprockets are made in aluminium, whereas this one is a special sprocket. It is made from chrome moly, or the full thing is chromium or chrome molybdenum. Now that is a coating which is given for this metal, or I think it is a coating, yeah. And what happens is that it makes this standard sprocket extremely strong, and it will wear out quite less when compared to the standard sprocket. So chrome moly sprockets, good, and it is not too heavy. Definitely this is a 1 teeth lesser, so it is lighter than the 14 teeth. So that is aside. Whereas these sprockets are ultra lightweight. They are very, very light. Like for example, the weight of one of these, the complete weight of one steel rear sprocket from Honda that you get as a 38 teeth is I think somewhere around, this weighs 640 grams. 640 grams. Whereas the sprocket on this aluminium one, this one is 220 grams. This one weighs somewhere around 310. That's it, yeah, 310. So it really lightens up. Okay, it doesn't really lighten up huge, but it becomes lighter. And so for top speed, this is a teeth smaller than this one. I don't know whether I can show it to you. Let's see. This is how it looks. Let's put the sprocket on top. Alright, so it's fully covered. You can't even see the small sprocket. Let's turn it around. And yes, see? Just a hair bigger. Just a little bigger, that's it. The standard sprocket, which is a black one, is a little bigger, whereas the 37 teeth is a little smaller. So you got to be very careful if you are a person who wants mileage, acceleration. You go for something like this. Something like this. Don't go for this. This is somebody who wants to really have good acceleration. Whereas you feel that you want a little bit more top speed, but you have, let's say you have improved your ECU mapping, then you can go for this. What happens is if you reduce the rear sprocket and keep the same 14 teeth, you go from 38 to 37, the bike will have a better top speed, meaning it'll go, the speed at which you're going will be higher, but you will sacrifice a tiny bit. This is just one teeth reduction, but you sacrifice a little bit of acceleration, and the bike you will feel that a hair bit dull. It'll feel a little dull on that sprocket. Whereas in this, the throttle will feel quite nice. The roll when you roll on your throttle, the bike will really run. So I've got sprockets that is 36. This is from Kitako, Japan. That is a standard sprocket from Honda. This is a Honda, or not a Honda. This is from a company called Tiger Performance, TYGA. It's right there. I hope I can see. Yeah, like that. Come on, camera, zoom. Okay, TYGA. This is Tiger Performance from Thailand. I think it's a bunch of foreigners, maybe Americans, who are working in Thailand. Who knows? Maybe. This is also a sprocket from Thailand. This is from Tiger Performance as well, and this is a 44 teeth. See, 44 teeth. So now, don't ask me what is best. You gotta find out what you want. Going for those ones, what happened is, if you go for that with a 14, the bike will go fast, but you will have to make sure that you have to rev the life out. You should rev fully. Your bike should not be under 7,000 RPMs. Otherwise, what will happen is the pickup below 7,000 RPMs, the bike feels very dull. It will not want to pull. So you will have to always shift down. But if you start holding up a speed, you should hold speeds with this sprocket. Meaning, if you lose speed, to regain your speed again, it'll be very hard on those. Whereas this one, if you are going to lose a lot of speed, speed, let's say you're at 120 on that, and then something happens on the road and you drop to 70, 60. To regain, go back to 120 is quite a pain in that. Whereas in this, to regain to 120 is very easy and it'll feel really nice. The bike it'll rev, it'll want to rev, and every movement, your hands, your throttle hand and your wheel will feel more in sync.